Welcome to another Battle Foam Bootcamp video. So today we're going to talk about Magna Racks. What a cool and exciting little invention we made here at Battle Foam years ago that has been kind of all the rage over the last few years. These are Magna Racks, and what these things do is they make moving your models much easier. It allows you to magnetize the bottom of your minis, kind of like so, boom, earth magnets, and then attach them to these in a really fast, easy to assemble kind of way. Now, what's neat about these is that they are modular. You can change the size of them. You can put them in different bags. But how do they actually get put together? That's the question you guys have asked. So let's talk about that today. First of all, you have your Magna Rack slider system. Now these guys actually slide into the frame like so and are able to allow you to keep the frame in the bag and then pull it out as you need it with your minis on top. What's cool about that though is that you can also use this as a tray when you're walking around the convention hall. So it's kind of a neat way to kind of have a two-service kind of type of moving system. Now, as far as the actual tray themselves, this is your frame. So let's start by putting this together. The first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna grab these little guys. These are your bottom plugs. These are gonna slide in like so. Now they're gonna be really tight. That's on purpose. That's designed so that the plugs don't fall out. And once you get it assembled, the legs themselves don't kind of release and fall off the actual tray itself. So once we put them in, you're gonna have them kind of snap into place. And you wanna hear this noise. That means you're actually getting them sealed in place. The thing about these is once you get them in, they're very difficult to come out, and there's a reason for that. You want this to be very sturdy when it's built and it's tall and it's got a ton of minis on it. You don't want this being rickety and moving around on you, or you're gonna have a possibility of something falling over. So tight fit is a good thing. That's our first one. Now, you're gonna get a variety of actual stock legs that come with your initial kit. So the stock legs just simply go on top like so. And again, these are gonna be kind of firm. You want that. You want it to be kind of fighting you slightly, but going at the same time. So now that we've put our first layer in, we've got our first part of the actual tray. Now, for me, I kind of like taking off this to build it because it lets me kind of see what I'm doing. It's a little easier. It's up to you. You can leave them on, but the top section, you'll notice, fits a little easier. Again, you're still gonna get that snapping, but it fits a little easier than what we did with our bottom plugs. There's a reason for that. So let's move on again to the next one. Depending on the kit you got, will dictate how many of these actual, let's call it trays that you actually have. So depending on which size you get, how many trays you got, which configuration it is, it's gonna vary on your sizes. Next is going to be your next set of legs. You're going to do the same thing. Put these on top, like so. And again, these are a little more firm push. They're not as severe as the bottom ones, but that's a good thing. That's on purpose because you want to be able to kind of interchange your legs out to change the configuration of your Magna Rack kit. So now we got this all on here. And again, I keep it off the actual slider trays because now I can still see, I get an idea of kind of my spatial awareness of what's going on with this thing, and so on and so forth. So our last set of legs, I'll put those on top. These are our little 2-inch guys. Slide those on top. Now, here's the difference. The top tray is always going to be a solid one. Why is that? The reason why it's solid, does not have a slider configuration on it, is because if you have this at the top of your bag, we want it to have one solid actual portion on top that's going to act as something of, let's call it the roof of the actual Magna Rack kit. Same thing, we're gonna go and put that in. What you'll notice too is the leg that you had here does not have the little, call it nipple, sticking out of the top. There's a reason for that also. You want to flush mount, so when this goes into your bag, like the 720 for instance, that this fits into perfectly, you want it to be flush so when you close your bag over it, you don't have any of these sticking out over the top. Now, if you have a configuration that does have the legs sticking on top, we have these plugs and this will push away a little bit, and you can also put sometimes a topper on here so that you can protect this top layer. But if you don't need that, you would go to the plugs themselves and you just simply put those in. As you can see, they slide right in. Again, push fit, they're gonna fight you a little bit. That one's gone, it's gone to the warp, never to be seen again. So I'm gonna put those down like so. That one would have one also. And the last part of it, of course, is putting our Magna Rack trays inside, our actual sliders. Notice that they just kind of go in and they kind of clip in place like so. Move on our second deck here. See, this is just a little easier. For some reason, I just find this to be a little easier than having them all on while I'm building it, because these are also kind of heavy, so you don't want to have the issue of these things being kind of cumbersome and fighting while you're putting on the next layer. So now we've built our Magna Rack kit. What's cool is if you tilt it, they don't fall out, right? So I'm not doing anything here. I'm just tilting it over. There's a reason for that. These actually kind of lock in place and they're kind of fighting you a little bit, but that's on purpose because you don't want this thing tipping and falling out like so. You want it to kind of slide in, lock in place, and then kind of pop out when you need it. So what's cool is, like I said before, you pull these out. Now this is kind of a model serving tray. So let's go ahead and put some minis on here. I think we have, let's just be safe. We'll put it on the second deck here. Open this guy up here, like so. There's our minis. We got our magnets. Bam. 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 Now what's cool? Look at that. Easy peasy. Also, this is scratch resistant, so that's going to really help out with durability over time. This is not going to rust on you. It's going to be scratch resistant. That's a really cool feature because there's a lot of imitation out there that does something similar like this, but you'll see corrosion on the edges. You'll see other issues with it, warping because they use a very thin metal. And of course, you're going to have the problem with scratches, which just kind of looks bad. So once you've done that, let's go ahead and put these back in, slide it in, and you are set to go. Now you have your Magna Rack kit. And if you look, my minis aren't going anywhere. They're in a nice little thing. My whole setup is solid as a rock. I can put this in my bag. It fits easily inside. I close my top on my bag. The battle foam bags all have the hard inner shell on it for the most part. That's going to give you the durability you need on top of this core that's going to be solid. And I mean, this thing's not going anywhere. Now, the last thing is sizes. So we have a variety of legs that you can that you can swap and buy separately that go on these. This, for instance, is our 12-inch leg. This is really good for Titans and large models that may need you to have a level really high up here. So, for instance, if you bought a 12-inch leg, you would then have this top or the second shelf all the way up here. What's cool is then that goes into a larger bag like the 1520 XL, and you can take Titans with you wherever you're going. So the legs available, 12-inch, 10-inch, 8, 6, 5, and then your 4s, 3s, 3.5, you name it, 2, and another 2 with the top on it. So what that gives you is a huge variety to choose from, so you can configure your battle foam Magna Rack kits however you like. Now, here's the thing. We're here for you if you have any questions. Hit us up at info@battlefoam.com. Go ahead and talk to us either via chat or any of our other features on our website. And of course, watch other videos on the Battle Foam Bootcamp to find out more about it. And we're here to help. Thanks a lot.